Welcome back to the Creative Boom podcast. I'm your host, Katie Cowan. For episode 59, my guest is the illustrator Adriana Bellet, otherwise known as G's Vanilla. Based in Stockholm, Sweden, but originally from Spain, Adriana graduated from University of the Arts London in 2010 with a postgrad in surface design and has been freelancing ever since. Specialising in editorial and publishing illustration, Adriana definitely loves to create characters and tell stories, all within hugely colourful spaces. In fact, colour is an important feature of her work. She works from her home studio for clients such as NBC News, The Guardian and Random House, and in the last 2 years she has been represented by the illustration agency Malena. Forgive me if I got the pronunciation wrong. Having an agent is something she says was a difficult shift, only because it was hard to let go of some control after a decade of working for herself. In recent years, Adriana has become a mother. With 2 children and a husband, it has certainly changed how she views work. And in this episode, we talk about that balance, why work isn't everything, and how we all have to make choices on what we do and don't take on. We chat about the pandemic, naturally, and the events of last summer, of Black Lives Matter and why that was perhaps a confusing time for her. Season 2 is kindly sponsored by Shillington, the original graphic design bootcamp, where in as little as 3 months you can go from dreamer to designer. We'll be hearing some helpful career advice from Shillington later in the show. For now, here's my chat with Adriana. Gosh, Adriana, it's so lovely to see you. It must be, 4 years since we last spoke?
I think it was. It's insane. But at the same time, when I received your email, it felt like it was so long ago. But then also so quick. It's just this, at least because I've had kids just in those 4 years.
Yes.
Time has just folded. It's it seems like another life, but at the same time, it feels like yesterday. It's very bizarre.
I know so you said kids, you've got 2, have you?
Yes. So I have one that just turned 4 last week, actually, and the little one that is a year and a half. So
fantastic. Yeah. And you're in Stockholm, so it's fantastic over there for parenting and sharing things equally. So that's why the husband is out with the kids now. That's great. Well, freelancing itself is a massive challenge, and then to sort of throw children into the mix, how do you juggle everything? How do you make it work?
Most of the times I wonder, do I make it work? It's I feel like I spend lots of the time just putting down fires and trying to get everything on time, but just getting it just by pure chance kind of thing. I have started sleeping much less than what I probably should. It's just the day doesn't have enough hours. And I feel like with one kid, it was hard. But now that it's 2, it's insane. And because it's even in the beginning, I was people say that 2 kids are so difficult. I'm so good. It's fine. And then, of course, I realized there's a baby. Baby doesn't do anything. now, once he turned 1, started walking, and now it's insane. It's full on all the time. So it's so now I was I'm going to eat my words. It's fine. So
it's easy.
It's hard.
It's easy when they're a baby because you can just put them down, can't you? And keep an eye on them and work away quite happily. And then
but it's funny how our mind kind of forgets, because it was my second, so I should have known by then that was the case. But still I fooled myself into thinking, I've got an easy one, so I'm not going to struggle. And now it's I'm so tired.
Oh, bless. Oh, that's so funny. Gosh. Well, I hope you do get a lot more sleep in the coming weeks and months. But you graduated in 2009, I remember, at the height of the global recession. So I suppose the lessons because you went freelance straight away, and the lessons you learnt there would have helped you out enormously with what's happening, now.
Yeah, I think what the best thing that I gained was this idea that when you've had tough times, you learn about yourself, and you know that you can survive them, and that you know that they're gonna get past and you're going to eventually forget about them. So I think that's a super valuable lesson to have. So even though perhaps the lessons that I learned weren't as practical or I couldn't really replicate them, it was more the feeling of knowing, well, this is this now. It will not be the same tomorrow, because it's this idea that you really, like, even though everyone knows that things don't stay, it's very hard to remember once you're going through something that is not ideal. So I feel like once you've already done it in the past, it's much easier to go, okay, fine, let's keep going. It's going to go away.
Yeah, I mean, I started Creative Boom in 2009 to help creatives who were struggling after, everything went completely to the wall. And it felt very much like that last year when the global pandemic happened, but it was like 100 times worse, or so it felt at the time. In the end, a lot of us were very lucky and managed to pick ourselves back up and get on with it. But, how did you find it last March? Where were you, and what were the discussions with your sort of husband back then?
Well, I had a very specific situation. Because I had a baby at the end of January. So I was in maternity. So I wasn't expected to work until at least September, I had thought. So it was horrible, but I was in that baby bubble where you're the world is burning, but I don't have time to look out of the window because the baby needs to sleep and eat and whatever. Yeah. So that was a very kind of weird thing because, of course, I didn't have as much time to worry as the majority of people had. And again, I hadn't expected to get money during that time. So I wasn't feeling the pressure in the same way. So that was very different from what you would say the majority of people had. And then when things started to become real, I had planned to go on maternity for at least 6 months and ideally 9. But I think after 4 months, so it must have been May last year, I started to get some job requests. And I was like, okay, this is not the moment in time to just go, no, sorry, I have a baby. I don't want to work. So I decided to start working with the baby. And again, that's the kind of thing, if you are, for example, in America, it's a given, right? But being in Europe and specifically in Scandinavia is kind of a crazy thing to do. But of course, okay, the Americans do it, I can do it. So I did it. And so started working with a 4-month-old baby. And then the 2nd of June happened, Black Lives Matter happened. And then I must admit that I really felt a wave of projects being pushed towards me.
Right, okay.
So, and then it's very weird for me because it's 2020 was a horrible year, but at the same time, if you look at the hard facts, business-wise for me, it went well. It wasn't the best, but it went well. And then family-wise, it also went well because I just had a little baby. So it was a very confusing year.
Yeah.
Yes, I think I would define it like this.
How did you feel when you got flooded with those work requests in the wake of Black Lives Matter and the murder of George Floyd?
Very confused. Very confused, but I'm not sure if confused is the word. I guess it is hard because I am not American. Mm-hmm. And I do not have any history with American family or African Americans. So I guess if this is a podcast, so people won't really know how I look, but I am, so I'm going to describe it. So I am Black, but I am of mixed race. So the biological father was Black, I believe. The biological mother was white. And I say biological because I was adopted when I was a tiny baby, I was, I think, 14 days. Mm-hmm. So, and I grew up with a white family. And that was it. That's the 80s in Spain. So I was I am Black from the outside, but I'm not culturally Black. And And again, like I have had certain moments where perhaps I endured discrimination. But if I am honest, I don't think I've endured discrimination much more than, I don't know, like the kid that was overweight at school in the 90s. That was rough also. The kid with red head also got lots of trouble in it. So it wasn't like, I have never had this systematic racism in my life. So when I got all these jobs coming, it felt like it wasn't fair. Like I shouldn't be taking them because like it was a retribution for something that needed to be done, but I wasn't the rightful receiver in a way. So that was very complicated to kind of like navigate and to see like how to tell the other person as like yeah.
I mean, we're all different. Hard. We're all different, aren't we? And the, assumptions can be made,
yes,
rightly or wrongly. And, we all have our own perspective on things. So it's interesting to hear you say that. I think when I'm talking to my female friends about being approached to do stuff, when I know it's just a sort of tick in the box so that they've got maybe another woman on a panel, or they might be sort of panicking a little bit in the lead up to International Women's Day, that you're, and it's difficult because you think, should I do this? Should I take this on? But one of my very wise girlfriends said to me, yes, you absolutely should do, even though there may be something of tokenism at play, we have to still take these opportunities and embrace them and, try not to think too deeply about whether they're sincere or just, something else. But it's interesting. 2020 was, sorry.
No, I was just going to say, like, for me, it was even beyond the fact of if it was tokenism, it was more the fact that it was being something done that was correct and needed, because it is true that there, like African American illustrators were not being called. That was the truth. So I think the thing was right. It's just like I wasn't the right person, even though I looked like would be the right person. So it felt more like from my side, like I was taking something that didn't belong to me. Because yes, like of course, like I am Black and I'm not lying to anyone, but like the cultural part wasn't there. So then it was more like trying to explain in a way that wasn't awkward for everyone to go, I look like this, but I might not be the person that you're looking for. And of course, like now it's starting to be more easy to talk about these things, but especially back in June and July, it was a very touchy subject. So like people could really feel like really bad and really awkward if you would say, well, you've assumed something that I am not, or like, and I didn't want to make them feel bad because it was the opposite, right? I just wanted to let you know, I was like, if you're trying to fill a quota and it's needed to fill that quota, I am not really that. Like, it's not the right button. So I think that was even more hard for me because, like, I agree with your friend, actually. And even though my pride always gets me there when there's things like female or whatever, it's like, well, I don't want to be selected out of the 50%. I want to be like from the 100% and be selected from there. So, exactly. And I feel the same. But I do agree that it's to balance scales, right? So in that case, it's like, well, this is the situation, we just take it. And then it will come a moment when this won't be needed. So, but because of that kind of concept, I was like, okay, if they're trying to balance the scales, I'm not the right weight to put, or perhaps I'm just like half of the weight of what they wanted to put. So it's complicated.
It's very complicated. And you're right, so you're saying yourself, you felt awkward having these conversations before 2020 as well?
No, I would say that before 2020, I never even thought it was a conversation. It's just like, again, like I've learned a lot since 2020, but what I've especially learned is something that I already knew, but I didn't really understand the magnitude of it, which is like my story is my story, and it's very specific to my situation, like to my life, and it cannot be compared to a big majority of people. And that's what I kind of like I realized during these 2 years, that there's much more, like, I would say, like, there's a larger number of people that go through, they have a common history together. And that is something I have never had. And because I've never had it, I never considered having it, and I never missed it. And I never thought about it. So I would never have a problem talking about race or ethnicity, because it wasn't a conversation I needed to have. I just took it for granted, right? And when 2020 happened, and then was this conversation being started, I was like, I had to learn to see where I fit and what other people think where I fit, and how to talk about these things. And like how, because the truth is that even though there are assumptions made, it is normal. I understand why they are made. Because like, if you made the assumption about me, I would say that 85% of the times you would get it right. It's just that in my particular case, it's so odd, the kind of things that made me, that you're not going to get it at all. But you would never expect it.
Yeah, exactly. It's important to remember we're all individuals. You know, you can't just make sweeping assumptions based on the colour of my skin. It's a bit absurd. So you are still based in Stockholm, but you are actually from Barcelona. Have you been able to go home during this whole time? Have you been able to see family?
No. Like, thanks goodness. The baby was born in the end of January. So my father and my sister, they managed to come, like, and my father and the wife and my sister managed to get here just before everything started to really like calm down. My mom didn't make it, so like she hasn't like met the baby, and now the baby is like walking and climbing. So yeah, it's sad.
It's been tough, really sad. So okay, moving aside from family and all the lovely blessings you've had over the last 4 years, how else has your work evolved since we last spoke? Because the last time we interviewed you, you were talking a lot about editorial illustration. Is that still a sort of main focus? Dipping your toe into surface pattern as well?
Definitely, I left that on the side. It wasn't really my, like, I mean, I do like doing it, but it's a bit too cerebral. I think it's a bit more like, I mean, it is a bit ridiculous to say it, but it feels more a bit like maths if you have to compare something, you know what I mean? So I'm like, no, that's too technical for me. But I do enjoy every once in a while doing surface patterns still. But no, I still am working on editorial, and now I've kind of like branched out with publishing, and that is something like, I think those two are for me the best sweet spot, because I've during these 4 years, I've actually learned that the most important thing when you are working as a freelance creative is to actually know yourself, and to know that perhaps what sounds good is not what fits with you. So like in my case, I'm someone that has quite a short attention span with things. So I love to dive into things and then finish them and let's go, like let it go, and like I won't even think about it again. So long projects kill me, right? Like, so like the typical thing when you're an illustrator is like, oh, would you like to do a book? Like a children's book. It's like, no, I would die. And like the idea of like having a project for like a whole year or more and working on it repeatedly, like no, thank you.
Such hard work.
No, I could not. So like for me, like editorial is great because it's fast paced, and like every time you get a sense of accomplishment because you've done it, you see it published, done, next. So that's very nice. And then now with publishing, it's very nice because it's a bit longer. So perhaps it like takes like between 1 month and 3 months to work something out. So it still feels like doing something bigger than like something that is only like a few days. But that's as long as I can go. You know, it's like when it takes more than 3 months, it's like, oh my goodness, this is not finishing. Why am I not ticking this off? So I think those two are like a very good balance.
Yeah, I think I agree with you there. It's nice to have short, sweet projects that you can sort of really sort of put all your energies into and be fully creative with, and then see them come to life. And then it's like, next. What's
Yes,
next?
exactly.
It keeps you happy.
I remember that the one day, I think it was some kind of like a survey in the UK, but they kind of like found out that the happiest profession was the hairdressers, because they got to interact with people, but also they got like the reward of their creative job straight away. And I think like that really stuck with me, because I understand that like every day you will make X amount of people happy and you will create something, right? So, and I think that that's like my kind of thing is like, editorial is as a hairdresser in illustration as you can get, I feel, for me.
I've always sort of had a little kind of secret hankering to be a barber, you know. How cool would that be? You just get to hear everybody's secrets. It would be like podcasting, but without sharing it with the world.
I know. Like, I feel the same. Like, and every time I go to one, and it's like, they are so good at talking to you as well. Like, and like, if you get a good hairdresser that can do your hair and also give you good conversation, you come out like feeling so good. I think it's such a nice kind of like profession, isn't it?
It's like a non-religious confessional.
Yes, it is.
It's good for people like me who don't go to church. I'll just go and see my hairdresser, Nat, and she'll just say, come on then, tell us, you can confess. And then in the end, she'll say 3 gins and a packet of crisps. You'll be all right, kid.
You're going to be fine, yeah. And you're looking awesome afterwards. So that's definitely a plus.
She's a miracle worker. She's lovely. She's just given me some lovely blonde highlights, which I don't think you can see here. But yeah, I'm slowly going blonde to sort of compensate the fact that I'm going grey, you know. So it's quite exciting. I'm looking forward to it. Because we both have dark hair, don't we? So we've never had the luxury of trying something completely different.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
So, you know, it's a silver lining of going old. That's what I'm saying.
It is, exactly. Of getting silver hair. I cannot wait. I sometimes like look at older ladies like with a grey afro. I'm like, oh my goodness, like that's my dream. But then of course, like I have one grey hair coming here and there. I was like, this is going to be a long process of painful middle ground.
And what do? Do you just let them run wild, or do you get the tweezer?
I just do it with the fingers. I'm like, I cannot deal with this. I just pull it off, and then of course it comes up again like a
a little patch.
Yes, exactly. I was like, but because my hair is so curly, and you know, like the gray hair is never as like elastic as the other ones, right? So they always like pop up like straight up. It's like, oh, come along, I cannot like go with this. It's like a little antenna. So yeah, the thing is gonna be painful until like it actually is like nice and lovely and grey.
Oh, I know. There was actually a big kind of fashion trend, wasn't there, where all these women were just like, for goodness sake, why am I dyeing my hair to cover this up? Yes. It's naturally beautiful. I love that. That's another cultural revolution that's going on. Women are just rejecting all these kind of expectations and just, embracing natural, which I love.
Yeah.
Although,
and it's so freeing though. Like it is true that I think like it's really hard to let go of that. It's like, for example, like shaving. Let's talk about shaving. I love the idea that you don't have to shave, but every time I go like, you know what? I'm not gonna shave today my legs, and I come out. I was like, is everyone seeing my legs? Is everyone
looking? Oh my goodness! And then you make that mistake sometimes where you're like in a hurry and you forget to put on some shaving cream, and you just sort of shave your dry skin, and then you've got itchy legs for the rest of the day.
God,
and it's like, and I have to shave my toes. What's that all about?
I mean, don't get me started.
No, let's not go there. For a little while in my 20s, I even shaved my arms, and then I had to grow my arms out, you know, because some mean boy on the bus when I was a kid said to me, "You'd be lovely if it wasn't for your hairy arms." I was like, so I started shaving them. And then, of course, once you start shaving, you have to keep shaving them. You end up with stubbly arms.
I know. I absolutely... Like, I did the same with the belly. I was like, I have a bit of hairs. And they told me, never do that. Never do that. And I was like, oh, no, they're bothering me. And I was like, I wish I had left those little 2 baby hairs there where they were. And
we need to listen to our older female,
I know.
You know, our
because they know, because they've been there.
Yes. Do you have like a really kind of funny cousin like I do? Whenever I see her, she always just looks at me closely and says, "You need to sort out your moustache, Katie."
You
And then
do
I
need to
have to-
appreciate that.
You then have to use that horrible kind of bleach on your lip like that. It's hilarious. Anyway, we're sharing far too much. TMI.
I know. Let's cut that one.
There'll be people listening to this thinking, "What the hell? I tuned
Like,
in
why
and
is
thought
this
this was a
happening to
podcast about creativity." Oh dear. Well, it's nice to know that I'm not alone, and I'm sure there are lots of people nodding along at home as we share our hairy tales. But anyway.
Yeah.
So back to business.
Yes.
I know it's tough. What do you think you've learned yourself? What do you think you've learned about yourself the most over the last 10, 12 years?
So what I was mentioning before, I think that's the biggest revelation, just to really understand who I am and what do I thrive doing. Like, I have had to accept that, okay, I'm someone that has not so much patience. Therefore, I need to find jobs that go with this. I think that was a really big kind of insight that I had, because like from that point on, I try to only get jobs that I know I will thrive, rather than jobs that sound good, even though, of course, if you give me like a good enough name, I'm like, yeah, I will do it. And then I will be miserable, of course, because I should have listened to myself. But I try at least to remember like who I am and what do I like doing. So that's a big thing. I think the other thing as well is like, I learned to define what success is for me. And I think that one is a very tricky one. Like, it takes a lot of effort and like a lot of years actually, to let go of what you think success looks like, to take what it actually looks for me. So that has been a big like learning curve. And again, it always goes back to when then you get the jobs, what will make you happy and what will make you feel successful versus what it won't. So I think...
No, I agree. I think success isn't about financial. I mean, I think if you can like make yourself financially secure, that's success.
Yes.
If you're doing something you love most of the time, that's success, because as a lot of the time we're doing bills, admin, doing our own marketing, pushing things out there all the time. So a lot of the time it's not enjoyable. And there are days when we're like, oh God, I'm so bored. But for the most part, that comes with, that comes with the territory, doesn't it? No matter what you do in life.
I think even if like when you're doing all these tedious kind of jobs, if you know that you're doing it to support the other side, then it's kind of fine. Like, I hate doing my taxes, but they are the taxes from the job that I love, right? So at least it's like, well, that's what it comes, is the other side of the coin. So I think that's also like a good way to reframe it. Like, just to know any tedious thing that you do because there's something that you love that goes attached to it, then then you have to do it. You cannot get candy all the time. You will get like no teeth after all,
You are so right. You're so right. We cannot have candy all the time. Our teeth would fall out and we would be miserable. So that is lovely. I'm taking that. We're taking a little break to get a word from our sponsor, Shillington, the original graphic design bootcamp, or in this case, some creative advice from Jack Trotman, a designer and artist who's also a teacher at Shillington's campus in London. I asked Jack, where do you see some designers going wrong, and what advice would you give to help them to put things right?
I see so many young designers just deleting and destroying work. But I think, I definitely did that when I first started out. If I was doing something and I didn't like it, I'd just get rid of it. But actually, please don't do that. Don't get rid of it. Those are like your B-sides or your sort of demos. And I also think those are really great things to share. So if you're working on a project or you're working on something self-initiated, perhaps, if there are things that didn't quite work out, share them on Instagram, share them with people. You'll be surprised at what people find interesting, and you'll also be surprised at what sorts of mistakes actually end up making something that's much, much better and much more interesting to other designers.
To find out more about studying graphic design in as little as 3 months online or at one of Shillington's 6 campuses around the world, visit shillingtoneducation.com. Now, back to Adriana. I know I've asked you before, but why do you call your business name G's Vanilla?
Oh, because it was a huge, like, it wasn't a mistake, but it was an example of thinking small in a way. Like, I finished my postgrad in 2009 actually. And
Yes, in London.
yes, exactly, in LCC. And there was like the final show, and me being Spanish, I left it, of course, to the very, very last minute. Of course, because that's me. And then I remember it was something like 1:00 in the morning, and it was due the next morning. And you had to like make a little like invitation, like not an invitation, like a little card to go with your, like the thing that you were gonna show. And it said there, what is your artist name? And I was like, do I need an artist name? I don't know. And like, it was 1:00 in the morning. And I was like, oh, I know, I'm gonna put Cheese Vanilla. It sounds funny. And I didn't even know why. It just like popped up. And I wrote it because, it was just for an exhibition. So who cares?
Yes.
But of course, that I back then I was studying surface design, and I had done some like ceramic plates, and those got picked by like El Decor and whatnot. And because I had put Cheese Vanilla on it, they got credited as Cheese Vanilla. And back then I was like, okay, I'm just starting. This is like a massive break, right? Like it was like the absolute dream. Like El Decor was mentioning me, and I was like, well, I'm not gonna like. Yeah, exactly. I'm not gonna give up that, because it turns out that my name doesn't match the bloody magazine. So I kept going with it.
It's great though. I love it. It's very distinctive. It really pops out, and you're kind of stuck with it now, aren't you?
Yeah, exactly. Now it's like it's too late. Like, and especially like so many years, right? It's like being more like
I know,
like 12 years, nearly
12 years. Yes,
12 years of internet. I was like, I'm not gonna give up that. Don't too much effort at all.
Exactly, because you've got the .com, haven't you? JeezVanilla.com. And
and like it's great because every time there's a new like app, no one has Cheese Vanilla. No one wants my username.
It's fantastic. So you've got the TikTok, and you've got the Snapchat, and you've got all the other ones.
I never have to worry about it. Like not once has anyone said the username is taken. Mine is when I like kind of like signed up twice because I forgot that I had signed up. But like it was actually like months after that it came up to my mind, like why had I called it? And it was like back then I was very much into the movie Juno. And,
I love Juno.
I know, it's such a nice, like, heartwarming movie. Yeah. And I was very much, and back then it was so, like, indie, right? It was, like, so creative and so different. So I remember I watched it a few times. And in the beginning, when she's like just found out that she's pregnant, and she's having this like monologue with herself. Well, yeah, it's a monologue, a monologue. And then there's a dog in there that is barking and is kind of like disrupting her thought. And then she says, "Geez, banana, shut your freaking trap." Freaking is not a bad word, is it? Anyway, it says like to the dog, shut your trap, banana. But it's banana, not vanilla. Then I was like, oh, that's where Cheese Vanilla comes from. So yes, it's a whole like string of mistakes.
It's a thought process that you went through.
Exactly.
It just popped up.
Exactly.
It's very creative, darling. It's wonderful.
Exactly. It makes me laugh now. Like when you read like about like how to create your brand, I'm like, yeah, you could go through all this, or you could just like make the biggest mistake and go for it.
Do you know what? I'm not so sure I believe in business plans. I think, being a bit more bohemian and being open to ideas and change, and, just being kind of making it up as you go along. I think there's an argument to say that's the better approach. So
I think that's what I needed to hear. Like, I think I found in my agenda, create a business plan for like, I'm not kidding, 2 years. And every bloody month, I'm like, this is the month when I'm going to do it. It never happens.
Well, do you know what? A business plan is always changing, right? So, and a business plan is this sort of big kind of magical, mystical thing that us business owners think has to be this sort of, 10-page document that's very professional, is designed really nicely. I certainly used to think that way until somebody older and wiser than me said, no, a business plan is just a sort of an idea of where you want to be. Just set manageable goals and literally just write down 5 things. This is my plan. These are 5 things. And then underneath each of the 5 sort of goals, put 3 mini steps in to help you get there. So if it's like, I don't know, if you haven't sorted out your website yet for, your freelance business, that can be one of your goals in your 5 steps, I think business plans only are really needed when you're sort of, I suppose, a much bigger corporate outfit and require, very, very sensible planning. Anyway, I don't know what I'm talking about, so I'm going to shut up and move on.
But it sounds very clever to me, and I can deal with 5 goals. That I can
5
deal
goals.
with. Yes.
I set myself 3 goals every year. That's what I do at Christmas. Okay. I set myself 3 goals, and I say, right, next year is, and I also give myself a theme. So I'll say, okay, 2021 is going to be about power. Yeah, and last year was about confidence.
Oh,
so it all ties in, and then it helps sort of keep you on track and reminds you what your sort of goals are for that year. And they might change, and that's fine.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I do. And it just keeps it really simple and keeps you focused. And it gives you that little bit of confidence when things are sort of going off track as they do. So,
yes.
Anyway,
and I feel... Yeah, sorry. I do love the planning. Sorry. I have a friend that one day she told me, Adriana, I found your biggest problem in life. And I was like, well, it's like, your problem is that you plan like a German, because my mom is German. So you plan like a German, but you execute like a Spaniard. And I was like, damn, she's so right. I can
I don't know what that
myself
means.
Planning things. But because like Germans plan, right? They're very good at planning everything, but then they follow through the plan.
Meticulous.
Yes. And then they know where they're going, and then the step 1, and then they end up to step whatever. Whether the more Spanish way is more free flowing, and we will get there. I mean, it's of course stereotypes, you understand, but it is true that I feel like we Spaniards are a bit more happy with going with the flow, kind of thing.
You have a nap, don't you? Don't you have a nap in the middle of the day?
You have to. I mean,
why?
I don't have one, but I do miss it. That's the thing.
Well, I tell you what, I think we need it today in the UK. I'm sat in my attic now, and out there it's something like 24 degrees, which for us Brits is, quite
There's
quite
nothing
hot.
else to do than sleep. There's nothing else to do than sleep when it's hot.
You're saying I need to have a nap after this? Shall I just have
I will
a nap?
condone it. I will just tell you, this is what you need to feel better with it.
All right, I'm on it, but I'm going to go downstairs to a cooler bedroom because it's way too hot up here. I'm sweating. Honestly, gosh, I'm not used to this warm weather. I moan about it when it's not sunny and it's raining all the time. And then as soon as it's sunny, I'm like, oh, it's warm. I like it warm. I don't like it this warm, as they say up north.
I know.
Anyway, so your style is obviously very distinctive, and there's colour plays a huge part. Is colour like a kind of Barcelona thing, a Spanish thing as well? Is that something that was inspiring to you as a kid?
I'm not quite sure, I would like there's not a distinct moment when I remember thinking, oh, this is what I love, or this is what I feel represented with. But it's true that if I look back when I was a kid, the first thing that I bought with my pocket money was a tracksuit, and it was like orange, but like pumpkin orange, the whole thing. And then I went to high school dressed like that. I'm like, now I look back, I was like, Adriana, really? This is what you chose?
Did you get picked on?
I don't think I did, but I did get looked at.
Yeah, which is fine, but I did the same. As soon as I had pocket money, I loved colourful clothes. And one year I bought a bright yellow, same colour as your gorgeous headband, bright yellow coat.
Oh.
And went to school, and they all started calling me Canary or Big Bird.
They always find something, don't they?
They're bastards.
I
Bastards.
know. And then you grow up and you go, yes, canaries are wonderful. So that's what I'm trying to go for.
Yes, you in your boring black coat, and I'm over here in my yellow jacket.
I know,
ridiculous.
it would be so nice to have the confidence when you're a kid that you have afterwards. But
I know. Do you ever have that? Do you kind of sort of sometimes have little flashes where you go, oh, I wish I could go back with the confidence I've got now, and I would tackle that situation way better.
Like with the confidence, and especially it's like the replies. I could go on for years with things thinking, what I should have said was, oh, I know that. And I replay that. And then I was like, I edit myself saying the right thing in the right moment. It's like, oh, yeah, you take that one.
I do that. Sometimes at night when you can't sleep and you're sort of, doing that silly human thing that we do where we replay things that have happened in our lives and we're like, oh, I wish I'd said it like this. I wish I'd done something else.
Yeah.
But in hindsight, it probably played out the way it was meant to. And
yes.
I can imagine you were very graceful and kind. And actually, if you'd have said those things, you'd have felt awful afterwards.
Yeah, probably would have ended up like, to the principal going like, well, we have an attitude problem, haven't we? So I did like color when I was a kid, but it wasn't something that I would have like known that I liked, kind of thing. And then when I started illustrating, I did everything in black and white, which now feels very weird. And for a while, I really like convinced myself that that's my thing. I will do everything in black and white. And the truth was that I was too scared to use color because it is actually quite difficult, I feel. It's something that is very, at least in my case, it's very like from the gut feeling. So the gut feeling is great, but you still do need to learn how to actually apply it properly and make it work. So I think for a long time, I was like, no, I'm a black and white kind of illustrator until I just let go. And I was like, okay, let's use some color. And then once I started, like I couldn't stop. Like now I love like
magic.
Yeah, I know. It's like so many possibilities, right? And what I like the most about color is that it is like the quickest way, I feel, to pass on a feeling into a viewer, like from your work to the viewer. You can make them feel something. It's a bit like music, like the power that music has. I think that's what color does as well. So.
And you just go with your gut when you're sort of creating something, or do you sort of call upon like color philosophy and pick colors to evoke certain?
Yeah, no, I always go with my gut feeling. And once I already knew what I was doing, I kind of felt like I need to have like a theory behind it, just because I started to get asked, like, how do you do it? And it kind of felt like a bit sad to go, well, I don't know. It's just like I felt it like this morning. So, and of course, like, because it's something that we all share, the truth is, even if it's something that is your gut feeling, is something that is generally shared by quite a lot of people, that it does actually look good together. And even though it is funny that some people will completely disagree with, but some people will understand it, right? So it was very interesting for me that what I thought it was completely random and my own creation, when I actually started to learn about color theory, it's like, oh, that's what I'm doing. Oh, that's what it's called, what I'm doing. So that was also interesting. So I would say
it's quite reassuring, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
You've been doing all these things naturally, and then when you sort of bring in the kind of, like you say, the color theory behind things, and it's just that kind of, oh yeah, that's good. I'm on the right track, and it kind of gives you that extra confidence, doesn't it?
Yes, exactly. And I think that's very nice. It's almost the same as like when I sketch. Often now, if I sketch, I'm doing like a portrait reference. And if I then, after the sketch, I overlap it, very often now it actually matches the proportions. And every time that happens, I'm like, yeah. And it's so beautiful to know. I was like, okay, like my hand and my brain can do something that actually is right. Because, I mean, it wouldn't matter. Like many styles don't even care about that, but my style is quite realistic in that way. So it's so nice to just see like, oh, actually it does match. Like I know what I'm doing. Yay.
You know what you're doing. Oh gosh, it's such a lovely revelation. And just looking at your work, I mean, you clearly know what you're doing. It's a beautiful illustrative work. And you're now represented by, is it Marlena?
Yeah. Well, I say Marlena just because I pronounce everything in Spanish.
I see.
English every day.
Marlena. How's that changed your work? Has that made life easier, having an agent?
So I've had her now for 2 years. I would say that now really starts to feel like she's making a huge difference. And not because she wasn't doing before, it's just because I wasn't allowing myself to let her do it. And she would just tell me, like, that's what we do. Don't worry about it. But I was like still worrying now. And because that's how I had done it for like the years before. And it took a good 2 years to go, no, actually, like I have an agent that can take care of this. And for the last few months, I just let her do her thing, which clearly is what she does best. I mean, she's been in the industry forever. And she does it so much better than what I could possibly do. And just letting go is very nice. And now it really feels like the relationship is so much better. And it's lovely also to be able to just ask for her opinion and just say like, oh, what do you think? Or do you think I should take this job or don't? And like I always am a bit, I don't want to say suspicious, but I always think like, oh, the money is the money and everyone will want you to take whatever makes money, right? But it's so nice that she's not like that. Like, even if it's a project that will have so much money involved in it, if it's not something that she thinks will make you thrive or something that she thinks that will take you too much time and you will have to say no to other things, she will tell you. So I really like that sounding board.
Yeah, definitely. And I think when those jobs come in, just having that, other brain to sort of figure out whether this isn't a good thing for you. Have you turned anything down that you thought, didn't really sort of, was something that didn't align with your beliefs, or your gut said, no, this is not right?
Well, yes, but it's not that I generally turn down religious things just because I am not religious. And it's not so much that I don't believe in it, which I don't, but it's more like
it's okay, There isn't, it's terrible to say it, but the fictional man in the sky is not going to send a thunderbolt down.
I know, you should have believed it.
I mean, maybe he might.
Maybe he might. There you go. And now the podcast finishes, and we all know now.
Well, we'll know when we're dead.
Yes, there you go.
Judgment Day will come.
That is my way of saying it. It's like, well, we'll get there when we get there. But yeah, anyway.
Exactly.
Yeah, let's move on from that. But I normally don't take that kind of jobs just because it's something I don't believe in. I don't feel I can do a good job. So
right,
I think because many times, like when I do editorial commissions, you need to think, you need to know what you're talking about, right? So if it's something that you don't believe in, I don't think you will ever do as good as a job as someone that does feel a connection with the theme. So that's what I normally try to say no to that. But yeah, it's not like I don't want to work for anyone that is a believer. No. But that's the reason.
I get it.
And then recently I said no to a couple of projects that were they were very big projects. And even though on paper they sounded super exciting and it was kind of like the thing that I was like, oh, I would have made it. Like realistically, now that I have 2 little kids, they would take so much effort and so much brain space that would mean that I'm out of the picture for a year. And I don't think I want to do it now. So those are the kind of things I'm saying no now.
That's a kitchen conference with the partner, isn't it? I said husband before. I made the assumption he's your husband, but
no, he's my husband actually. Yeah.
Oh, right, okay,
yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
But you'll have these kitchen conferences where you both sort of share, things at the end of the day when you're cooking food together. And what do you think about that? Am I doing the right thing? Should we do it? And it's tough, isn't it? Because on the one hand, you want your career to go really well, but on the other, at the end of the day, work is work, and your children are everything, and your husband and your family. There's got to be a balance, and so I think you know yourself what the right thing to do is.
Yeah, and I think as well, like the problem with it is like one thing is always how it feels in the beginning. But the truth is that kind of like elating feeling comes only in the beginning when you get offered it and at the end when you finish it. But in between, that's just work. And it doesn't
Yes.
matter really what kind of work it is. It's just work where you have to wake up and do the work. So that's why I think, like, for me, I really struggle because I do like the sense of like accomplishing something. So if I don't have that accomplishment in a year, I know that I will struggle a lot with that, and that will make me grumpy, and then therefore, like, I will be grumpy at home, and then it's like a whole like ball that like grows. So I think like these kind of things I can say yes if I can still work on the side with other ones, and then like you kind of have a balance. But right now I cannot take several things at the same time. It's like I'm struggling as it is to just like clean the teeth of my kids, give them food, and do my job. So yes, one job is enough.
One, exactly. That's brilliant. And I saw that you had a little break. You had 2 months off social media last summer. How was that? And what did you learn from that? Do you think like an illustrator can survive without Twitter and Instagram?
Yes, it definitely can. I find that so you can survive without it, but you need to be in it. So what I'm trying to say is like it's okay to have breaks, and it's even okay that you don't post it often, as long as you do have a website that someone can go, oh, is she still alive, kind of thing, and like yeah she is, it's fine, kind of thing.
She's under 2 children currently, juggling
yeah,
them.
exactly. But at least like there is something. You do need to have a presence, I believe, like because it does come, and even if it's just silly things like I have lost the habit of like posting the jobs that I'm doing when they come out, but the clients like to tag, you know, so you do need to have something so that at least the other people can like relate back and feel like, because I mean, not everyone is the same, but like some, especially smaller clients, they like to show that they've invested in doing like a proper illustration, or like they've spent the money in someone. So if they cannot even like tag the person, I think it's a bit like sad. No, not sad. It's like it's something that you can easily give to as an extra kind of thing. So at least you need to have that. But I feel like it's very interesting because I have been doing like a mentorship with the Association of Illustrators, and that was one of the things that I realized. So with my mentee, which she is awesome. But she's starting now. She's been working at it for like a year, something like this. And one of the things that we kind of like tried to work through was to understand really the power of social media. And in my sense, it's almost the opposite of what you normally hear, which is like, if you have social media, you will have your business or whatever. So what I try to tell her is like, a good social media doesn't mean a good business behind. And a bad social media doesn't mean a bad business behind either. Like you can just have enough and still like have a very successful career. And even though you don't show it to everyone, or there's not this like amazing Instagram account to go with it, that doesn't mean that you're not successful. So, and again, that goes back again to like what success means. Like sometimes success, like for me, I realized that I don't care so much if everyone else knows what I've been working in, because for me it's much more like my own realization that I've worked with people that I loved, and that's enough. And I actually really struggle putting it out there, which is silly because I should be like super proud of like having been able to work with people that were my heroes, or like with people I really admire. I should put it out there, like go, yay, like I am very happy with what I'm doing. But for me, it's so much about that feeling that I get, that I don't, like, it's almost like used once it's finished. So I really struggle afterwards going, oh, by the way, I've been working on this, because I've already like got all that energy out of it. And it's like, again, I've moved on to the next thing.
Exactly. It's a really difficult thing to get right. And I'm sure lots of people listening to this will be nodding along saying, God, it's that one last cog on the wheel, isn't it? That you promote the work you've just completed, but right at the end, you're just kind of like, oh, tired, next, or take a little break and then next, or just dive heads first straight into the next thing. But so what mantra are you going to take with you into this sort of next 12 months? Now we're sort of coming out of the pandemic and things are getting back to normal. What's kind of the theme?
Actually, like I've like told you all this about like you don't need social media, blah blah blah. Now I'm gonna give you the other side. However, I would actually like to be a bit more thoughtful about social media, and not so much as like social media per se, but I've realized that something that I really love is teaching. And with this, like with the mentorship that I'm doing, I really love being able to just, it's not even like give back. It's just like, it's a nice way to, even if like in a selfish way, it's just nice to go through what you've learned and to make something out of it. Like, I feel like when you're starting, you have all these like growing pains, and then you get to whatever you want it to be. But all those growing pains that were completely necessary, they no longer have value in a way. Like you don't do anything out of that knowledge because you've moved on to the next stage. And I feel like teaching and mentoring is a way to kind of like make the most of the whole experience that you've had in your career, before you kind of like completely forget how it was to like not have clients, or you forget how it was to not have to build a website, or like, because what we were saying about like social media, I was saying like, oh, you don't need to have it so active or whatever. But I remember my husband at one point when I was like starting and I was kind of like struggling and complaining about it, I had been like practicing so much and I had gotten so much better. And one day he sat with me and he says like, so you've improved a lot, right? And I said, yeah. It's like, well, you've done these and these and these. It's like, yeah, look at all these like amount of pictures I've been doing. I was like, and then he just asked me, and who knows about that? I was like, what do you mean? It's like, who have you told? I'm like, no one. What do you mean? I don't know. I've done it. So there's of course like that thing, like when we talk about social media, you do not need it once you're already in a way established or the clients are coming, because you can rely on other methods to get the clients, but you do need to get known in the beginning. So in the beginning, you do need to put something out there, because otherwise no one will know, right? But that's the kind of thing as well, right? Like I soon forget how it was. And that's why like just one question ago I was telling you, you don't need it. That's not true. You do need it if you are in a place where you do need to get known. So, and I think that, so I think that's like all the kind of things that I would like to like put together in some kind of like a mentorship or something like this, so that at least it's there for something, so for someone else to just make the most. Because like it took me 6 years, I would say, to make it happen, because I didn't go to like proper education. So it took me 6 years. And I don't think it needs to take so long. It will take, I would say, at least it takes you 3 years to really make it work, I would say, unless you're super happy, super lucky. But it doesn't need to take 6 years. And I feel like if anyone could just shorten it, even if it's just by 1 month, by my mistakes, that would be nice. So I think that's what I would like to do next year.
That's lovely. So, keep going. If you're listening and you want to be an illustrator, it shouldn't take you 6 years. But if you're in your 7th year and you're still not making it, then don't worry.
It's still okay. It will happen.
It will happen. Or, there's no shame in sort of changing course, is there? That you could do something else. There's no shame in that. But, you know, success is different to all of us.
It is.
Anyway, thank you so much, Adriana. It's been lovely chatting with you. And seeing how far you've come. I didn't realise you had 2 little ones. So, congrats on that as well.
Oh, thank you.
You've been listening to the Creative Boom podcast with your host, Katie Cowan. Thanks again to our sponsor, Shillington, the original graphic design bootcamp where you can study at one of its 6 campuses around the world or via its online course. To find out more, go to shillingtoneducation.com. If you're enjoying the show and want to support us, don't forget to subscribe or leave us a review. It really helps. You can find all the links and more via creativeboom.com/podcast. Join me next time when my guest will be the graphic designer and illustrator, George Simkin.